Bienvenidos a episodio 21 con Roberto. If you don't understand what I just said, I say welcome to episode 21 with Robert. Robert's teaching us about foreign comics. Also, we'll be unboxing a few comics he sent us, and he'll be talking about them. So do not miss it. Don't forget to give us a like.
Oh, gotta turn my light on. Hey guys, welcome to Comic Book Women. We are so pumped because we have basically an expert in the field. We have Robert Fordham here with us tonight. Robert, what's up? Welcome on in.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone out there.
Hello, hello.
Tonight is an education on foreigners.
There you go. Damn, look at those glasses.
Damn, that was a good intro. Very nice. For those of you out there who are not familiar, Rob knows everything about foreign. He's going to be teaching us because we definitely don't. This is going to be like an introductory course, so to speak. But before we get into that, Robert was kind enough a few weeks back. He contacted me and said he wanted to send the girls and myself some goodies in the mail. So how about an unboxing, ladies?
Yay!
I come bearing gifts.
Oh man,
Is it Christmas?
Best kind of guess. All right, so Lucy, you're up first. Let's see what you got.
Well, I should have had probably opened it right before, but let me see. You guys are ready? I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited.
You look like a kid at Christmas, doesn't she? She's all. Get it, Lucy.
I hope I don't
Get it.
freaking cut myself here, guys.
No, you're good.
That's that Bird City packaging.
Get it, girl. Get it.
Anthony packages stuff like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, seriously. What did you say? Let's see.
I already know what they got, but I don't want to say anything. I can't say anything.
See, whoa. Oh, well, I think this was from Laura.
That one was
right.
Love you. Love you.
Oh, love you too. Thank you. Ooh, let's see. Oh, shit. Oh, this is so cool. Okay.
Oh, you gotta hold him up closer. Hold him up closer.
Let's see.
You have yourself there a Brazilian E-ball, and you have a German Wonder Woman, which is Wonder Girl. That is the only run of Wonder Woman in that country for the German. And the Brazilian, that is extremely rare. But I'm not going to use the word rare. I'm going to say scarce because there's no telling what the print run was. So you have yourself a gem there.
Wow.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
The condition, I mean, on this one right here, as Aventuras Diana. I'm going to just read it in Spanish. But this was such a good condition, too. I mean, for the year, I'm assuming, wow.
That was like mid 70s, so it's in decent condition. But I'm gonna get into condition later, so we're gonna hold those questions for later.
He nailed it. What better books for you specifically, Lucy? I mean, come on, that's perfect.
I know.
It's on purpose.
I love it.
You're a Wonder Woman fan. I think I touched everybody's favorites.
Yeah, you did. All right, that was Lucy's, which is just. I think by the end of this show, we're gonna be like, holy hell, we're gonna understand so much more, But all right, Jen, you're up.
Okay, so I already cut it open because I don't know. I just thought I would, but I didn't look. I just kind of have it.
You were ready. I wasn't ready. I guess I should.
But I didn't. Oh, it's really cool.
Wait, no, don't. Are you peeking?
Oh, well, I'm trying to see it before I hold it up.
I want to see.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold them.
Let me see.
Let's see if I can hold them.
Oh, it's signed.
Nice.
Yes, it is. Jenny Fristen in Baltimore Comic Con 2017.
Oh,
And I really like this. Wow, thank you so much.
That is a wraparound cover. If you open it up, it opens up into a trifold. It has the entire team on there.
Oh, really?
Wow. That is so cool.
That's really
Wow.
awesome.
That is so cool.
And then the panini, that's the Italian?
Yeah, it would have the 2-letter acronym at the end. It'll say like FR for French. It would say
kinda
BR
hard
for
to-
Brazilian.
Sorry, I know it's like
Yeah, no, it's hard with Mylars. It's kind of rough.
cool.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then, so
Wow.
how was Friesen?
She was amazing. She signed a bunch of books I had, and that was one of the
That's
ones I said, you know
awesome.
what, I got doubles of that. So
Thank you so much.
You
I know
wanted
you're.
to.
Well, because
Sorry.
I was not embarrassed, too nervous. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's a doll. I had to.
Thank you.
Okay, my turn.
Yay! Can see? Can wait? Can wait?
I'm excited. Do you guys want to see what I got? Okay, Jen,
Yep.
you're gonna like this. All right. First up, we had Star Wars Darth Maul,
Nice.
What
The
number?
Turk-
number 4.
that is the Turkish edition. As you can
Wow.
see, it's a little bit smaller than a normal size comic.
Oh, that's
And
right.
if you open it up, it has a cardstock cover on the inside. They don't really do
Right.
the back end boards. And I think I separated them with something on the back too. Yeah. One's a card and the other one's the comic.
Cool.
Wow.
It's like a lithograph almost.
That was my first one, which I
Wow.
love. What?
In Spanish,
Love
it's called
it.
muy mal.
Muy Maul, Darth Maul. Here's my next one. So Darth Maul, this again, number
Wow.
5, and it came with a little card in the back.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yep. And that is from a partner of the Tales from the Flipside crew, Parallel Urban. That's our Turkish brethren across the pond. So
Wow.
that was part of the books he sent me. And I was like, hey, I might as well spread the wealth, right? It's always about sharing.
Aw,
Flawless
that's
condition
sweet.
too, like what Lucy was saying. The condition on these is fantastic. And then last but not least, Han Solo. This one didn't
Wow.
have a number on it, so I don't know what
That's
the
a
number
one. That's a one shot.
Oh, it's a one shot. That's cool.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
And that-
There, better. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I can't
Thank
tell
you
the language
so-
either.
It's Turkish.
Is this Turkish?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rob,
that is so cool.
Sincere
You're the
thanks
best.
from all of us. That
Thank
is
you so
so. I can't even tell you how much that means to all three of us. It's so cool. I mean, you're a guest on our show, and he's dropping presents. It's fantastic. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm introducing you to the world of foreign comic community. We do a lot of sharing, a lot of trading going on, which we'll touch on later on. But this is definitely I say probably in the past 2 years, I kind of just dove straight in from dealing with Matt Roybal and John Z over at Tales from the Flipside and doing that with Global Comic Safari a few times. It's always been a solid run. Some awesome books. Like I said, we're not going to go too deep. I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg. We'll get into the nitty gritty later.
This is phase 1, part 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Jen, what do you think is a good question just to kick it off for anybody out there who completely has no idea anything about foreign comics? Where do we start?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, okay. So I know, like, personally, I've been looking into it more, and I know like what it appeals to me. But what do you, Rob, think is the one of the main appeals?
Guide us, Rob.
Looking for.
Okay. So I'm gonna recycle some things that Matt Roybal said. When you think about this side of the hobby, it's about the uniqueness of your collection. We've seen, we all can sit here and go into an American bookstore and see any book on the wall, you know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah.
But the moment you step outside of that realm and see something that's in a different language, you'll say, that's different. I know what that book is, but what is it differently? So to kind of give you guys an example, because I'm that kind of guy. This is part of the set we're going to talk about tonight. Action Comics 521. Now, I'm going to tell you something special about this book. One, this is my birthday character. It came out July 1981. I was born July 10th, 1981.
Wow.
So with that being said, this is the character I kind of followed, and this is kind of the first set that I went to try to complete, but it took me a while to find a few. And I say that because, like I said, when you go in the store, you know what you're looking at, right? I know this is Action Comics 521. Now, with that being said, when you go down the rabbit hole and you find one of these,
Oh wow. Oh,
this is Turkish
cool.
as well.
Look at how
With this,
little.
yeah, see how small it is, right? This is the
Yeah.
regular size comic, right? See how small it is. It's digest. Now the
Yeah.
thing about this is that you see the cover, you see it's the same, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the coloration,
Oh.
you know, she's not a black woman. She's painted white because you can see the skin tone.
Yeah.
But guess what? On the inside, the story's not in there. Her story's not in here, but it's the cover. So there it is. That's that one
Huh.
thing about foreigners that you just say, like, huh?
So they
Nice.
changed the whole story on that one?
No, it's like they have like this is a thick book. So for
Uh-huh.
this one, you know, it's a little bit thicker than most. You can see the thickness there. It's like 3 stories in one. But the Action 521 is not in here. But it has the cover. Of course, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to say it right now. I don't know all the foreign languages. You might call me an expert, but I just say I know what I'm looking at. After seeing so much, you kind of know what you're looking at, but you do recognize this cover. That's all that matters. It looks good on the wall up here, saying like, wait, what's that?
Wow.
That's very interesting. And Jen was asking that earlier if you spoke any other languages or if you read any of the other languages.
Nah, we have a community for that. I can say like, hey, what does this word mean? So I mean, it's a deep dive, but like I said, I don't want to scare nobody off. I'm just going through the fun part.
Well, I mean, we have Google Translate now, so it can help you.
Got it.
Well, yeah, and you brought up Matt Roybal. I was actually talking with him earlier, and I was asking, like what the appeal is to this whole world, and he was saying that it's just a different way to kind of. You're hunting for comics. You're not just finding something that's easily accessible. You really got to hunt for these. You have to have the community, like you were talking about, of people that are able to help, and you have connections with other people. And the more I was talking to him, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is a whole redrawn by a Turkish. Oh, he's on. Hi, Matt.
There he is.
Whole nother world. All right, so let's kick it off. We're going to start the night. This is something that Matt taught me, set building, which is the book we were just talking about. Explain this.
Okay, so as you can see, the book to the left is the original one I showed you here, the 9.0. But we all know there's different versions of that. There is another version with an Atari insert in it. That's the American version. But then you start getting into the different countries. Now, the size variations in all of these is literally true to size. You see the regular one next to it, but then you see over here, it's the
I
pence.
was wondering why you did that.
And that's all of them are staggered. Like the littlest one over there that, you know, we'll talk about that one probably first, is the Mexican Navarro. That one's the size of like, you know, like a Time Life Mac, like a TV Guide size. It's real small.
Those are that small, really? The Navarro ones?
Yeah, those are really small, like almost like a Polaroid 5x7 almost.
Oh, wow.
I kid you not. I thought Rob just didn't know how to expand them so they were all the same size. I was like, oh, poor guy. We'll work on that later.
Nice try. I'm a graphic design major. I know what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. I got to that point later. I'm like, oh shit, maybe he did this intentionally. So there you go. The size difference. And is there any reason for that?
One thing I could say about it, that kind of like every country has their way of printing something. Everybody didn't adopt the pop culture that we did, the times that we did. You know, we have golden age books. Some countries didn't have golden age. They just started off with bronze. You have some countries that have something as old as our culture, like 1939. You know, Batman in another country, first printing might have been 1971, but we know Batman was done in, right? So it's kind of, I'll tell you what, when you go to put all these books together, you can't put them in the same box. Everything's from a magazine size to that little Navarro. So you have this wide range, which you'll see later on. So I mean, it's a deep dive, but like I said, when it comes to this, all right, we start this disclaimer right now. When it comes to foreign, whoever's listening to my voice right now, when it comes to foreigns, condition doesn't matter. As long as the cover's attached, if it's a complete rag, as long as you can make out what it is and it looks presentable, you might as well buy it. I'll say it right now.
So the condition is not a big a big deal.
For foreigners, it's not, because you have to think about it. When we start, like I said, I'm not going deep dive, but I'm just saying, you think of one country. If I say Brazil, what's 3 things that come to mind?
Giselle Buchanan.
Yeah, but you think about the weather, right?
Oh yeah.
Think about how hot it is.
Gotcha.
Now, from being in this community long enough and talking to enough people and getting the education across the board, you think about humidity, you think about the rainforest, you think about the beaches, how hot, dry, whatever it is. And every country did not adopt bags and boards. So a lot of these books were left raw. So Lucy, that book that you have from Brazilian e-balls, that came from a huge collector in Brazil. With that being said, that was stored in the proper place. So a lot of those Brazilian e-balls, the staples would be rusted because iron was a hot commodity during that time frame when it was printed. So a lot of times they would remove the staples. They would remove the staples to preserve the rust, so it wouldn't leak into the paper. So a lot of times, a lot of those Brazilian books would have string, rubber cement, or even just just kept together, just so it preserved the book. So a lot of that comes into a factor when it comes to those other countries.
This is just crazy. All right, so this set though, we're gonna move on to this. Oh
yeah,
no, I would have never thought about those things. You know, when you buy from other places, like the weather, and it's you're right. Like especially like that old, you don't think about that stuff. That's crazy.
And I would even think like shipping internationally, going through customs, probably.
Look what JJ just said, Jen.
What?
You'll understand why conditions that matter when it's the first time you something from overseas.
And a lot of countries don't believe in cardboard either. We'll leave the nightmares for the next podcast.
Wow. Comic book nightmares, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into these a little deeper. So I took the set that you had there, and we're going to kind of go through them one by one so you can kind of explain the differences and where these books came from. Then we'll move on to some of the other sets that you have. But start with this one.
Okay. As you can see, I'm not going to read the title word for word.
Oh, I can read it for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
Una mujer disfrazada entre en la lucha a favor o en contra mía.
Nice.
We don't need Google. We have
Lucy. Right. So, all right, this is the Mexican Navarro. Now, Navarros, I don't know about anybody else in the community, but for me, it's like the bane of my existence because some of these are not necessarily hard to find, but some people list it wrong too, because if you notice, the number is not on the cover. You have to know the number before you even try to go look for it. As you can see, somebody wrote it in pencil in the corner. It's one of those things where a lot of collectors wrote it on the outside so they know what the number is from the, seeing it from afar. But a lot of times you'll be like, all right, it's Action Comics 521, but of course 521 is not on there. So it's a bane. It's a pain in the rear, but it's one of those things you hunt for. So when it comes to buying in other countries, you have to, of course, know the language. And then if you have some people that, if you join FCC, I'm gonna give them their plug. Yeah. It's one of those things where you have people in that country. We don't have to kind of worry about that. You just say, hey, I know this cover. I know what book I need. Can you find it for me? So a lot of that is, it's definitely a strong sense of community versus just saying, hey, I spin on eBay, click a button, and it comes to me. It's a lot more complex.
You know what? My dad lives in Mexico, so now I'm gonna send him on the hunt for all these.
You should.
You know what? And I was looking for them, like the Spanish ones, and it's definitely not easy because now I understand why. That because of the numbers. I was just typing like comics in Spanish, but like comics in español, and not a lot of, I was not finding a lot of DC, like maybe some Superman, maybe, but not a lot of, it was mostly like the Mexican books that the cartoonish thing that they used to make, but now I understand. I guess it's a different way to look for them.
Yeah, but
really quickly, Rob, can you answer this one?
Yes, when it comes to databases, there are, but like I said, that is going to have to be a separate podcast. Like I'm gonna have to bring Roybal on. I have to kind of go through the entire gambit of where these books are. But I mean, the one thing I can say is that to kind of get the baseline of what you're looking for is comics.org. It's in English, but it'll list those countries for you that is a part of that website. It'll give you the start to find it. As you go down the rabbit hole, you start to find other books. But it's definitely a good starting point to find out what other countries it's printed in.
Yeah, there's even like I'm like a baby into like learning about foreign, but I was trying to find Hajime no Ippo is this like anime that I liked a lot, and I'm like, hey, I want the first appearance, and I found the manga pretty easy. I'm like, no, I want the first appearance, and I was able to like, you have to like internet the crud out of this thing. And then I was only still able to find the second magazine appearance, and the first magazine appearance isn't even like pictured. And I'm like, but now I know the number in the magazine, what it looks like, but like I don't know Japanese, so.
We'll talk later, Jen, because Japanese is a different ball game too. So it's a rabbit hole. I'm telling you, Alice in Wonderland has nothing on foreigns right now.
So this is part one on our foreign.
A lot. Guys, if you are just hopping in, we are talking foreign comics tonight. And as Rob was saying, I do want to mention the Foreign Comic Collector magazine, the official group. If you haven't already tried to join that on Facebook, it is a great resource. Matt hit me up today and he's like, Laura, you got to check this out. So I just kind of lurked around and you learn so much. Again, it's Foreign Comic Collector magazine. That's the official group. Join it on Facebook. All right. Sorry, Robert. Let's talk this one.
All right. This is the German. One of these things is that this is a digest size too, but this book is thick. I'm talking like, imagine the old school TV guide, solid, as you can see, 164 sitting, that's pages. So it's a real, like a phone book almost, but it's the story is like maybe 8 pages on the inside, and the rest of it is like flash. You have a little bit of the Justice League in there, but I mean, it's definitely a nice size book.
Is there a color difference between this one and the one that we just did? Let me see.
No, that is actually the same. I sent the picture of the one that's the difference.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one then. Here we go.
All right. Now this one, when it comes to years, I didn't say this earlier, but when it comes to the years, you have to think in 81, they didn't have internet. So when it comes to them getting the pages, that's why when it comes to foreigns, we call them editions. You think of it like you have the Harry Potter UK edition, and you have the English edition. It's not a variant. It's not a different reprint or nothing like that, because they're using the same artwork. If you open all these books up, it's the same artwork. Some of them are in color. Some of them are in black and white, and some of them have a little bit of both. Some of them might be a sepia tone, where it's just red and white, or blue and white, or black and white. So it's kind of it's a give or take, but each country has their own rendition of this book. This one is a UK Pence edition, which, as you can see, it says the 15p in the corner, but the interior is the exact same. Only difference is the price variance. So this considered is a price variance.
Okay. Well, what do you mean by price variance? Which one's, like, out of the three of these, which one's the most expensive?
If I had to guess it, I would say probably the American. But I mean, the one that probably took the longest for me to find is coming up. I'll let you know when that comes up.
All right, here we go. The Norwegian?
All right, now, Norwegian. There's a lot of countries in the Netherlands. I'm going to give them the full region. You have Finland, you have Denmark, you have Germany, you have, Norway, and then you have the Dutch, and then you have Danish too. So when it comes to those, we kind of put them all in a nutshell because they all printed at the same time. They come from the same press, but they're printed in their own dialects. So this one's a Norwegian, which it comes as, as you can see, the titles change, but each one I sent, it has that different variation of like Super Saiyan, Super Surian is this one, but the next one is like Superman with 2 N's, or Stalaman, or kind of each country has their own dialect for Superman on the top.
And her necklace doesn't have the little thing around it, like the spark around it anymore. See how these three all have the fire around it?
Yeah.
This one lost that.
Yeah.
Wow. They ran out of red probably.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So interesting.
Rob, when I
Yeah.
was making the slides, I wrote it verbatim because I'm like, why does he put an NR for? Or I didn't understand if there was like the reasoning behind that, but now I'm learning.
Everybody doesn't use the pound sign, so it's kind of a courtesy to kind of write it in their language versus, don't want to show disrespect to the foreign guys that's in that country. So it's kind of a respect thing.
I didn't even know that either. Did you know that, Jen, that not everybody uses the pound sign?
Oh, yeah, because when I was trying to find, I think, what was it? Either Yellow Claw or the FF1, and I found, but it ended up being a reprint in England because it had the pence, but then like it didn't. Yeah, it's different. Like, yeah, it makes it tough trying to find stuff. But
yeah.
All right, hold on. The Quebec Canadian copies are printed earlier because plates were shipped there prior to American. Oh.
In some cases, that's true. Yeah.
I'm sure Rob probably already knew that. Okay, so there's the next one. Then let's keep going on this set here.
Like I said, this is a different dialect of the Norwegian countries. So this is the Swedish. And as you can see, it's Stylmenen. If you type that in Google, it'll automatically say Superman. So Google kind of helps you break down what it is. But when you're looking, if eBay gives you a chance to kind of go to any country and do it in their language, if you type this in that exact way, without the accent over the A, it'll normally come up, or it'll show you whoever listed it that way. So it's a deep dive, but I don't want to scare you guys off. We're just going through the basics.
No, you're doing great. We're learning.
Yeah.
I feel like we're learning a lot here. Okay, here's the next one. This is the French edition, and now this is where you really see the variation in the color.
Yeah, it's completely different on this one.
Yes. And once again, like I said, I just got the Turkish one in my hands today, so I didn't have a chance to give you a scan. I kind of took a profile picture of it. But this one was the hardest one for me to find. Now, this one's the biggest one out of the other books. It's a magazine size, which is about the size of a Golden Age book. And this one's thick too. But as you can see on the cover, she's, I said it's a later slide, but I showed the variations of this is what makes this book cool, because they painted her as a white woman with a black skin under the arms, which I thought was weird. But I was like, hey, it's a part of the set, but it's one of those things that kind of separates it from the others.
Wait, those aren't gloves?
Wow.
No, they're gloves, but I mean, the most of it, only thing it's covering is that red tarp in the front, but everything else is exposed. So all of that's supposed to be
the neck and the jaw. Do you see it?
Yeah, that's different colors, not the same as like if that was part of like if it's a suit, like it looks like they made it look like she's wearing a suit, not.
See, see the mask? So like the mask right here. So this is white on that one. See, like I can't point. Dang it.
Yeah.
I'm giving this example for shits and giggles, but like Captain America, right? This is Brazilian, but you see this? How he has a Chevy Chase shorts on.
And
you can rock them.
Funny.
Yeah. This is a Brazilian Golden Age. So
wow.
This is one of those things that kind of makes it cool too.
Interesting.
Very, very cool. All right, hold on. We're almost done with this one set, which is just insane that there's so many different. My mind's just blown here. So that was one we just went on. And that was the hardest one that you had, the hardest time you had finding that one. So let's go on to.
This is the U.S. one. This is the one everybody knows. Came out July 1981, and this is the basic copy that this is our default copy of what we know it looks like.
Okay. I'm reading some of the comments here. Most foreign copies are lower grades too. Most are readers. That's what he was saying earlier. Yeah, that you're not looking for condition as long as the cover is attached by it. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And that could do with a lot of the quality of paper and assembly of books. Exactly. Yeah. This is nuts.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's crazy.
It's a mind melt, but yeah, it comes together.
So there's the whole set. How long did this take you to find this entire set?
If I had to base it, I just got the Turkish one today. So right now it marks me at 9 months.
Wow. See, that's different than going onto eBay and being like, ding, 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 done.
Yeah.
It's definitely more.
It's a slow beat. But like I said, this part of the hobby is literally just about passion and you getting the books that you love versus just, oh, I need to have this book because I want to flip it, or you're doing it for the speculation side of it. This part of the hobby is just saying, I have every known edition worldwide. I'm pretty sure somewhere in the database for FBI, CIA, I'm pretty sure on a list because I had a lot of packages come in from random parts of the world. So seeing the stamps is starting to become a thing too. Like you see
You're gonna
stamps from
be
other
on that
countries.
show. You're gonna be on that show. Is it Catch a? Oh my God, there was this show we've been watching. It's a new, kind of new, and it's catched kind of like contraband or something like that. What is the name of that show we
Yeah,
watched?
they'll just catch comics. They'll be catching
Look
comics
at
from
this,
me.
Rob. Anthony says he's gonna build an 880 detective set. He said he's apologizing to me already. He's about to drop some cash on that. Great. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good luck with the Mexican foil from La Mole. You're already charging the arm and leg for those.
Good luck, Aunt. Good luck. All right, moving on to the next. This was the first full compilation picture that I put up here, so you can kind of explain to us. This is your Black Panther set, which looks amazing.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a cheapskate. I don't want to spend a lot, but everybody went for
That's
FF52,
me.
which is the known set. But this one was a cheap buy because, Black Panther #1, Jack Kirby. That's a win-win. So I had the 9.0 already. That's the graded one in the back. But last week when you guys were talking to what's the guy's name? I forgot that fast. He was so funny.
Gunn?
Yeah.
Oh, Gary Gunn.
Yeah, when you were saying that they repainted the cover, that book right next to it, that's Mundi Comics. That's the Spanish one too. That one's drawn by the artist in country, Lopez Espy, and he drew that. As you can see, all the other ones have the frog, but he drew a completely different rendition. So a lot of times these covers will work for people in country. So that book was painted. It's a total different. As you can see, the people in the background are different. The layout's different. Even the letters are stretched to kind of, as an artist, you'll say like, horror vacui, which is, a fear of empty space. They want to use every inch of that book, but that was like minimized. So it stands out. You see his full body. And I was like, that's a cool one. That's the first foreign I bought off of eBay when I started. So that was the first. That's the first right there for me.
That's cool.
That is so cool. Wow.
And Kirby, look at him. He's kind of a cool looking dude, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, that's what I was thinking when I looked it up. I was like, oh my God. So, okay, I don't want to get too much into price because I know that's not the main motivation behind collecting these. It's more of a passion for the hunt and being able to find everything that you want. But theoretically, if I was looking for a set like this, are we talking like, because I mean, some of these comics, people don't buy them because they can't afford them. So is a foreign option a little bit more accessible?
It is, but it's about the accessibility of being able to buy it. So a lot of the foreigners is buying opportunity versus having access to it. And that's what makes this part gratifying because when you find it, you're like, oh snap, I found it. I have to buy it. You'll be sitting there waiting for eons. Like most of these, like the Mundi Comics one, I think that, like I said, is the first one I bought, $18.
Nice.
Shipping was like maybe right now, if you see shipping on international books from another country and it's less than $8, don't buy it. Because I promise you won't get it.
Oh, really?
So a lot of this you have to trust to community. I'll just say that out loud now. That is my disclaimer. eBay is not a problem, but if you see any shipping below $8, don't buy it. If you have to ask a question, I'd rather you call me or hit me up on Facebook and say, hey, Rob, what do you think about this? And I'll say, like, you know what? That's not a bad buy. I know the guy. Go ahead and buy it. But I mean, outside of that, but I mean, like the one on the lower right, that's the Greek, the Cabana Hellas Greek. That was a book that lured me in when Matt showed it to Flipside guys. I was like, I need that book because the simple fact of the cryptic language, the way it's laid out, it looks like a newsstand. But the moment you look at the top, you'll say like, wait, that doesn't say Black Panther. Why is it in there? I know how to spell. I'm not crazy. What is that?
So,
all right, here's
so now my question. Oh, okay.
Go, Lucy, you go first, and we'll do this one.
No, okay. So since we're talking about like the money, like how much is it worth buying for as an investment? Like how a lot of people do with the comics here, or is it just for a collector? Do you like recommend that or not really?
I would say kind of stay away from the speculation side of it, but of course, I'll say it right now. All of those mega keys, the foreign sellers already know what they're going for. They already see the sales. Like I'll bring it up right now, like X-Men #1 with Cyclops and Jean Grey on the cover. That a foreign just sold just recently a 5.0 sold for $3,500 graded. So those mega keys that everybody's looking for, all of those are going to be far fetched. But the one thing that makes foreigns that much more scarce is that finding the foreign edition of the X-Men one is going to be even harder. Imagine you go on a census, right, and you see, all right, we'll use ASM 300. 10,000 of them have been graded plus, right? But then you go to that next little tab and you see Filipino and you hit it. And you'll say, why is there only one? You have to think about it.
Yeah.
Philippines, jungle, the middle of nowhere from the 80s. Yeah, good luck finding one. I tell you right now, some people would give their left kidney, right leg, right ear, and part of their soul to get one of those. And I'm not even selling it short. I'm not selling it short at all. That's how hard it is to get some of these books. I'm not scaring you off. I'm just saying, when you see it and it's presented to you, your best bet is to buy it and think about it later.
And that's the challenge, man. Anthony's like so invested over here. He's sitting there like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And the foreign market, Renstrom said, is now growing.
I guess it's kind of like a gamble. I guess you kind of take, and it's crazy because you really have to think about it like where before, not like you're, you think about like, is it a good condition or they're lying when you're buying from here? But it's like, you have to think about like the weather, how it is, like how all those little things, like where it's coming from to see if
the variables that you don't think of when you buy domestically.
No. It's just so crazy.
And even like mislabeling sometimes, because like I came super close to buying an FF1 and I knew it was from England because I saw the pence. And then to me, it's a lot of money. So I was like, let me just look into this real quick. Went back on eBay, saw that the exact same damage was on an older book that sold like a couple months ago. And then but that guy listed it and had more pictures and he said that it was detached cover. So then I asked this guy, he never got back to me. And I was like, okay. And then I did more research and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't the first print FF. So in England, they did a second print or not a reprint later, a couple years later. And this wasn't the first time that it came like that. So I was like, oh man, like I didn't know, like, so it said first appearance for like what you would read, but like you have to look into it. And I'm like, oh, the covers are different. Oh man, I'm glad I did research because I would have bought it and found out like, oh, this is the second time that they printed it in England. Like, man, like, so don't just tell people's words.
Yeah, like, ask Rob.
Now I'll say it like this: first appearances, and I'm saying this like loosely. A lot of the first appearances that we know weren't printed in the same book in other countries. And I say that because, example, like I'll use Zatanna, right? Zatanna's Hawkman #4.
Oh.
In Australia, her first print is in a Wonder Woman book, not Hawkman. The cover is completely whack, but I mean, even the original one that Zatanna was in was like Hawkman's falling from a ceiling when he could fly, which is confusing as all get out. Yeah. But it's not in that book. Like I showed you the Action Comics Turkish edition. It's not even in there. So when it comes to first appearances, a lot of that education comes later. Yeah. But you just know the covers right now for the beginner course. Yeah. You just recognize the covers. We'll school you. We'll fill you in on the other stuff later.
Well, it's
Rob, kind of questions too.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. What do you think of the new CGC labels on foreign editions? We have a lot of questions in the audience here.
All I can say is that it's a win because I know for years there's some bickering with the hardcore professors of foreigns, but for me it's easier on searching it. I want to do the registry set. I'm not going front. I want to do a registry set. I'm pretty sure a lot of the editions that I have, a lot of other people aren't going to have. So it's going to give me that little bit of an edge to kind of get, your hands and get a couple of accolades for my hard work. This is a side of anthropology and history at the same time. What should I say? I'm not gonna give you the professor level. I'm gonna take the glasses off now because
Remember, four
mano a mano.
Jen, what were you gonna ask?
Wow.
Just about being careful when you buy stuff on, especially like eBay. I see a lot of people like the modern day reprints that are like say $4.99 on it, and people are like, it's like I'm like, why is that $120? It's at the comic book store right now for $5. What's going on? It's people because they see the image and they just get excited, but it's okay, get excited, but like read it because people do put like first appearance, and you're like, okay, that's what they're putting it as, but like look at the comic. If it says a modern day price, ooh, right? No?
Yeah.
Oh, I put up the next slide. I got him sidetracked.
Look at her booty.
So when it comes,
Anthony?
Well, we'll get to that. I'm gonna answer Laura's question. When it comes to a lot of the foreigns, it's harder to find. Like example, like Gabriel Del Auto, a lot of his books are done in foreign books first. Like there's an Iron Spider one he did. It's on a German book. On the back, some of the German paninis, a lot of them have a number on the back. Like it'll say limited to 222, or the Turner Supergirl is limited to this number. It's limited to that number. So it's a lot of those books are numbered for a reason because a lot of them were con exclusives. So a lot of times those books are more rare than the original.
Oh.
Yeah. So my daughter just came from out of nowhere. But let's talk about this book. This is a scan of Big Booty Gwen, El Sorprendente Hombre Araña. Now,
There you go.
everybody's unilateral wet dream is talked about the Gwen Stacy living on, right, Lucy? So a lot of that, Jen, when it comes to this storyline, a lot of these books were printed weekly versus the bi-weekly our books came. So by the time Mexico got up to when Gwen Stacy died, which is what, 121, 122?
Yes. 121.
121. By the time she died, a lot of the Spanish speaking countries was like, hey, what do you mean? We like Gwen Stacy. Why is she dying? What are these crazy Americans doing? We want to keep her going. So they went to Marvel and said, hey, can we continue doing a run? But we'll just have her do something else. So this is where you get into the non-canon story. Now, this book went on when Gwen Stacy was dead. Now, this book is like the third tier Grail of that run. The Wedding issue is number 1. This one's the number 2. And then the third one is the Vampirella cover, right? So when it comes to a lot of these books, this one's a Grail in that run, which I was able to get, which is right here. And this one, and I can say this with confidence that nobody's going to beat that for a while.
Wow, 9.4. That is crazy.
Now, this is a file copy. This came from a collection from the person that printed it, Hector Nava Garcia.
Oh,
this
wow.
is a file copy. When I say this is clean, this is the best this is the best condition you'll probably get.
How did you get that?
Wow.
Community. I said it. Community.
Wow.
This was a help.
Wow, that is so crazy. And see, like, I like, if you guys ever watch novelas, all the girls' booties, they look like that. So,
Lucy, read the comment.
hey, when is a non-canon was a bean, rice, and tortillas fat? Seriously. And you know what the thing is? Out there, you walk everywhere. Well, that's how it was back then, you walk everywhere. So you get that booty up.
Everybody to your room.
They didn't make white girls with ass in the time frame, but now, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, thanks, husband. So sweet. All right, and you were saying the next one was the wedding edition, so right?
Yes. So with this one, it's a dream sequence. So Laura, Jen, you were right. This was a wedding issue. This is a daydream. Like Peter got knocked out and he dreamed that he married Gwen Stacy. So with this one, this is the issue that drives everybody nuts, that everybody's looking for. You will not find a cheap copy. A rag copy sold for almost $200, but it was in 3 pieces. So this one, they know what this is.
Do you have one?
No, Of course not. Now I barely got this one.
We're going to have to fix that,
Let
lady.
alone that one.
There's a little part of me that like I was talking to somebody and I'm like, I kind of want to go traveling now, and they're like, what, for comics? And I'm like, well, listen, it's a bonus. You get to go to that country and then like hunt, but then there's also the food and like the stuff around, right? What?
Yeah, but if I had to say it, a lot of times they don't have an open or known comic book store that you can go to. A lot of these are found in flea markets, little
I was just gonna say that.
like little side shops, or just sold in the back of an antique store. That's kind of the thing with some of these books. So it's like you have to trust the people in those countries to kind of guide you to where those books are, or say, "Hey, I found this book. Are you willing to buy it? Or how much you willing to buy it for?"
Rob, where are you at? Like, where do you live?
I live in Maryland.
Don't tell her. She's gonna go and get you books.
Right. Where have you ever gone anywhere outside the country looking for books, like Jen saying?
I haven't. Since getting into foreigns, I've never left the state. I just kind of Facebook Messengers my best friend.
Trip. We'll take Rob with us. We'll be safe. We'll be fine. Anthony can come too. Bring Sam with us.
Go to Mexico, guys.
I have to clear it with my wife to go with 3 women.
She's gonna come too. She's coming with us.
Okay.
She's coming with us.
So y'all go drinking and I go look for books. Got it.
Oh no, we're all going to look for books, okay?
And then drinking. That'll come next. All right. What's going on this side?
Yeah. So this is my pride and joy right here. My She-Hulk set.
I want it.
Yeah. So if I had to pick, the hardest one in this set is the one in the back, the 3.0. That's the Australian Yaffa. That one is a magazine-sized book. So that one is probably the hardest out of all of them. In my 2 years of being in foreigns, I've only found that book twice.
Wow.
And
I like this. La mujer masa.
Yeah. So as you can see, the art never changed. But when it comes to the only one that's different is the one that's all the way to the right. That's the
bottom left?
No, the middle row all the way to the right.
Oh, okay.
That one is a Spanish one. Oh, sorry. I hit the mic mute button by accident. But that one, Jennifer Walters is wearing a different color outfit, which is covered on Global Comic Safari. If you guys will check that out, that's a plug.
Okay.
Plug away.
You gotta send this to me because such a. Oh well, I just watched this again so I can remember. Never mind.
We also can put it in the description, right? Links in the description.
Yeah.
Cool.
You gotta do that.
All right.
We can add them.
What is that one where she has red hair? The bottom left.
Oh, that I put that with this set because that's a Street Fighter book. A Street Fighter Unlimited number 10. That's She Blanca.
I knew something. Hey.
Wow, that is.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
All right, we're moving on to here. These I put these as 2 separate sets because I wasn't really sure like what it was. I mean, there's X-Men because it's Storm, right? But explain it, Robert.
All right. Like I said, I'm not gonna scare you guys off. That is an Indonesian bootleg. When I say bootleg, I say that to say that they didn't have official licenses with Marvel, but they wanted to adopt the comic culture. So with that being said, they had to make sure they mix and skewed everything so they don't get, copyright infringement of hoarding Marvel's property. So as you can see, Storm is from Africa, and on here she looks like an Indian woman. So, but on the interior, she's black and white. So this is interior of this is the story of X-Men 127, the Hellfire Club, on the inside of this one, if I remember correctly. So this one is interesting. This is hard. I'm going to say it right now. This is the hardest book to find. From 1980, Indonesia. Good luck.
I was going to say, where did you get this? Like, where the hell did you find something like this?
I got this in a trade from a good friend of the community, Josh. We made a trade, and that's how I got that. I was like, I need that book. It's a Black Panther book I want too. I didn't send that because I'm still looking for it, but I'm working on the deal right now to get my hands on one. So now the Batgirl one that you see there, that one is I'm still waiting on the Mexican Navarro. So Lucy, I need your help on that one.
Okay, I'm gonna send me kind of like how it looks, and I'm gonna ask my dad.
Okay.
If he can look out there.
Yes. So that one is the one on the bottom right, the green cover. That's an Egyptian one. The one to the left of that is a Brazilian. The one to the far right that has Batman in the corner, kind of staggered. That's an Italian. And the other two are Norwegian. Like one's the German, and the other one's I think that's what's that, Dutch. Corno. No, that's a German. So Levigian and Ladderlappen. Those are some pretty heavy books.
I'm
But
I'm
go
just
ahead.
like, how do you know all of them where they're from? That is so
Right. His wife's like, you can't remember to take out the trash, but you remember all this.
Oh no, I take out the trash. Don't play me. I know I take out the trash.
Just the Anthony that I get.
I want to hear the wifey say it though. I just
You can probably have Dutch diet size, but you can't remember Valentine's Day, damn it.
I have a question. Oh, okay. Blue green artifacts. He has a question. He said, "Question, Robert. The New Mexico variants with the famous racial covers were those the regular covers in Mexico, like Edge of Spider-Verse?"
Yes, a lot of times you can see what country likes the cover better. So when it comes to like example, like the first Gambit, the set you had up there, we all know everybody says, the first appearance is X-Men Annual 14, right? So with that being said, the cover they didn't like it, but they let X-Men 266 be their cover for Gambit. So when it comes to a lot of the countries, you can see what cover they like better. Edge of Spider-Verse is no exception. They did the land variant versus the regular variant. They didn't want Robbie Rodriguez, they wanted Greg Land. So a lot of times it's the countries that prefer a better cover over what it is. So as much as we gripe about what's the first appearance,
Yeah.
they just said, you know what, we're going to put that cover on the one we like. So we use X-Men 266 versus X-Men Annual 14.
That is so crazy that they can just do that.
Hey, listen. What lawyers go into these countries to tell them they can't do
True.
it?
Well, and they also have the luxury of having time to pick, kind of like they have a couple comics before and okay, well now we know what this one is going to be. Like I'm sure if they can go back and change, if the first appearance of Rogue, her cover is okay, well if you could go back and change that, I'm sure someone would.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean like this one?
They didn't change it? Is that the same?
This one, Jen? This one?
What?
Vengadores Anual. It's the first appearance of Rogue, the annual 10.
So they didn't change it? I would have thought they would have changed it,
Nope.
right?
They kept it.
That is cool. But I mean, still the lettering of the words, it's different. That's the only thing that it's different, right? That I see from here. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, I showed this one as a Cat fan. This is the first Falcon. As you can tell, if nobody has noticed, I'm doing black characters because it's Black History Month, and we're going to celebrate it like we're supposed to. I'm covering Global Comic Safari for Black History Month, so nobody get on them about it. They are aware. I'm doing it. Falcon, Captain America 117. As you can see, that is not his suit. That is differently colored.
That's right.
That's done by the artist in country, and they gave Captain America a little head bubble and put Falcon on the front. I love it. That's why it's there. Now, the other one is a Yugoslavian EKS. Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. So tell me if you can find that.
Oh my gosh. This is like
It's a
history.
This is history lesson, anthropology, and comic love, all in the same trio. So you right there, you have a trifecta.
Wow.
That's what that book is.
So cool. This is the first time I'm excited to be in a class.
I wish you need to be. Rob's got us covered, says Matt. You really do. This is probably, and I'm not even saying that the most fascinating show we've done. This is so cool. There's so much rich, and we're just like Rob has been pointing out, scratching the surface, baby. We're gonna have him back over and over, and we're gonna get Matt on with us, and we're gonna keep digging into this, like you said, rabbit hole. We're gonna keep tumbling.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got my friend right here, my Flicks in comics. She has a question. She's like, I have a German Batman 251, but it's also has a Superman logo. and the trade dress, which I thought was odd. Is that legit or is it a bootleg?
That's legit. A lot of the Germans, like I said, like example, like Wonder Woman, like the Wonder Girl you have, a lot of times they do their own spin. Like there's a art example, like the Wonder Woman 204. That's this is the US version, right? Once again, this is Australia, right? It's Wonder Woman, but it says Superman, world's finest 101. So this is one of those examples where, as you can see, they flip the image. She's on the other side now. So when it comes to these, a lot of times you might think they're off, but just know, as long as you recognize the cover, that's all that matters. Because, let's be real. Who's going to read the interiors?
This one looks promising and it has cool interiors.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I did not send a nude picture on purpose because I'm a respectable gentleman. I'm married. Now I will share a story. When this book finally, this isn't the first issue I got, but when I got my first couple of books, this is the first set that I finished. This is Shueisha Weekly Playboy, number 32. Interiors has the pages of Amazing Fantasy 15, but it's made from the magazine. Now, Jen, you're the manga expert here. I'll say it like this. When it comes to manga and art, they Frankenstein the crap out of every book in this series that they put in this magazine. Now, I'm going to say this out loud. This is not Hugh Hefner's Playboy. This is Japanese version of Playboy. As you can see, there's no Playboy bunny on the front. She still has clothes on. This is how it goes. But on the interiors, there's a nude woman right next to Uncle Ben dying. So you have three things going on. Uncle Ben's laid out because he saw a boob on the next page because the whole time is closed. So with that being said, this is a guilty pleasure. Everybody needs this book in their collection. You don't have to be afraid, gentlemen. This is it. We hit the pinnacle. We finally have Spider-Man and boobs in the same book. How you not want it? Okay, I'm done.
That's amazing.
How do you find it though? How would you find this?
Say booby girl with Spider-Man.
Like, how would you search this? If I want this, how do I get this?
Well, so it's looking for the
Oh wait, we can't show. I was gonna see. Let me see the page. Never mind.
No, we can't.
I don't think we can see that. I don't think we can show that, but
you'll be demonetized quickly.
So you could be sad for whatever is happening in the comic book. You're like, ooh, hello, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I guess the thinking was what in Japan, because not all comics get printed like comics. How am I going to make money? Blah, 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 right?
So this is the thing from the story, because I got this from a guy in Japan. He lived in country, and he helped me sort some of these down. Now, some of it, I had to do the footwork, but he helped me with it's a 10-issue run from 32 to 41. If anybody has questions about it, I have no problem sending you pictures so you can, kind of match them up side by side. So with these manga, when it comes to Stan Lee, as you can see, it says Stan Lee and Larry Lieber did the layout or whatever. Well, we all know John Romita was the one that kind of did the artwork for Spider-Man, right? Mm-hmm. They Frankenstein the stories, so you can't match the stories to the comic books because they mixed the panels. They wanted to be all action, will show bright colors, Spider-Man punching somebody, fighting a monster. So it's hard to follow because you're trying to use the American version brain of Spider-Man in the book. So every book in this run has been Frankenstein to make it look like it's action in every panel. So with this is a tough run to fill because I work overnights. So when it comes to a lot of these, I was on it's a website called Rinkia, which is Japanese version of Yahoo Marketplace. And they list books. Shipping is through the roof, but I really wanted it. And this is probably the first foreign set that I finished was this run. So this will never leave my collection. So don't hit me with messages later saying, am I selling it? Sell me just the one. It's going to be a solid hell no. Okay. These are mine.
The boob stays at home.
All of it.
Rob, we have a question for you. AJ wants to know, do you still have that Japanese Miss Marvel that you got signed?
Yes, I do. That's in the back. I could probably ask my wife to bring it, but she'll probably bring me the whole box. I don't want that. I'll just. It's on my Instagram if you guys want to check it out. I did put it up, and the actor actually tagged me on her post that she signed it. So that's
Awesome.
the Avengers Kamala Khan actress on the video game. I sent it in to CGC to get it graded, and she said, now this is the thing about foreigners that I love, that it makes it stand out to be able to be tagged when they say, wow, this book is amazing. That's kind of what goes on with that. So it's a guilty pleasure in its own.
All right, Jen, here's your slide that I made for you. So if you have some questions you want to ask Rob about this, I think he's talking in the background real quick, but once he hops back on, there you go. Go ahead.
So the way I kind of started to like look into forums, besides the Hajime no Ippo stuff, was the Fantastic Four one, and then Yellow Claw. So there's one I've been like looking at for the longest time on eBay. It's like because the Yellow Claw, I like Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man, and now he's in WandaVision. I'm like, I like him a lot because I was great arc. Like he was on Veep. He's been like fresh off the boat. So I'm like, man, I just now I'm getting really into his character, and I'm like, okay, Yellow Claw. I can't afford or find the American version anywhere. This keeps popping up on my thing, and I'm like, ooh, but it's like $400. So it's like, okay, that's more affordable than what I'm seeing in other places. And this is like where foreign kind of like gets interesting because I'm like, okay, well, like even on the other one too was the Avengers with King, and then there's another one that was like we were saying earlier. It's the Avengers featuring Doctor Strange or featuring, and then that's cool too because I'm like, okay, well, there's like the second appearance of Whitman, Black Knight, on there for like $5 or $6, and I'm like, that's cool, but you're right, shipping is more. It just so like for me, foreigns is a way of getting these things I can't normally afford for a better price.
Yeah. So, like example, just like you said, Tomb of Dracula 10, right? We already know Blade's coming. Mashallah Ali's already going to be Blade. That book is already priced out of most people's price range.
Yeah.
But you can get you a nice little foreign German.
That's really cool.
Ooh,
$30.
I want that one.
$30.
Where again?
You have to join FCC.
Okay, I
Wait, what FCC, Rob?
That's the
Foreign Comic Collecting, Facebook, people in country. You make friends.
I joined it today.
Again? Okay, what is it called again? I need to look for it right now.
Foreign Comic Collecting.
Okay.
I'm a moderator there. So Josh or Matt, if you're there, I need you to go ahead and accept these ladies in. I don't want no delays.
I'm already in.
Royalty.
I am in. I told you guys I was stalking around that site. There's so much cool stuff to look at, and it's a good reference too. And as Rob's been stressing, it seems like a really good community that if you need to.
Wow.
Anthony's getting on.
Is he joining too, Anthony?
Wait, is it Wait, are you looking for
FCC, Foreign Comic Collecting.
Oh.
Not the one that censored guys, but we have
the one that I saw is an
comics.
official group in the parentheses. Like there's parentheses that say official group because there's another one on here that doesn't say that. So make sure you're joining the right one.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's okay.
So that's its official group in parentheses after it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You got it?
Everyone at home is also doing this, right?
If you're not we're all sitting here on our phone.
We'll take a 5-minute break for everybody to like settle in.
Okay. O'Brien's part of it too?
While you guys are looking that up, a quick word from our sponsors.
Quick shout out to our sponsors over at Bird City Comics. Head over to their website for an additional 15% off your entire order when you use code CBW15. Back to the show.
I figured that was a good little. And okay, hold on. Anthony said, "What? This is where you signed up, and there's questions. How did you hear about it? Rob! Exclamation point.
That's good enough. They'll let you in.
Okay, so I think
you've been vouched.
So you said it was in parentheses, official group, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I found it. So
see it? It looks like that.
I got questions. Okay.
I think you can see it.
got it. Yes, that's
I'm
the
gonna
one.
have Anthony share the link in the chat too, just so that people are finding the right one, because there is one that's kind of similar. So we don't want you guys getting the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So let's go back over here. So that was one Jen was asking about. So are you gonna pull the trigger, Jen? Are you gonna buy it? It's
Well,
only
Do it.
The $400 one, I think I'm gonna wait until maybe we get that. What's it called? Either my refund or the stimulus. But there's a couple other ones that, like the Avengers, Doctor Strange, the Pence from England. I'm probably gonna, because it's under 10, and I mean, like now that I know if it's over $8 shipping, then it's probably okay.
Yeah, this is $50 in shipping on this one. So
sounds legit.
No,
I would say this: if you let me know who the seller is, I could probably save you on the eBay fees and might get you a deal. So that's part of the community that works. And once I see who the seller is, I'll be like, oh, I know who that is. Go right to Facebook. They pull it off of eBay, give you a deal, and you just go ahead and
well, and I think, and
make
I
a
know,
transaction.
like learning languages, like, cause I would like reading. So I'm like, it's for my brain to go, okay, well, if I go for England, I can at least read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, but then I'm sure, like, so the interiors for a lot of these other foreigns, is it besides the language, is it the exact same, or do they also, like, besides the Japanese Spider-Man where they like splice it, do they do that with other comics too, or?
Yes, they did. They did a lot of they do a lot of trades, like the Japanese Miss Marvel. They do 1 through 5. So when it comes to some countries, it's all about the printing. Like the Japanese Playboy, they save money by putting it inside the Playboys. They didn't do a high gloss. Of course, the nude photos are all like, magazine quality, but the pages in the interior, like the ads, there's some strange comics in there. There's some in the back. So a lot of that is in like regular newsprint, but the high gloss pages are like, cameras from Kodak or what's the other one? Pentax or Polaroid. They might have a Hugo in the back. So a lot of that is where they put the money in, but the comics is sidebar. A lot of it's in red and whites, sepia and pinks. My wife thought I was just buying porn from foreign countries just for the kicks, shits, and giggles.
Yeah.
But the moment I exposed what it was, and she was like, "Oh,
It's interesting, right? Wow.
yeah." She's in the background sidebarring, so she's
listen to this.
sidebarring from the
Having
sideline.
Rob on your podcast is like knowing that cool bouncer lets you in the side door to avoid the line at the club.
Oh, it took me back to my younger days.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. All right. So, guys, if you are just hopping in, we have Rob with us. We are talking foreign comics. We're just barely scratching the surface. So we're definitely going to have him on more than once. We're going to switch a little bit gears here and go out of the comic book realm into kind of the movie area. This is one that Lucy wanted to talk to you guys about.
Yes, this one it's based on a book and it came out. I think it was 2000. Wait, give me a second. Let me pull my little notes real quick. Wait. Okay. So this one came the movie Sweden movie came out 2008, and it's Let the Right One In, which you can watch that one on Hulu. And the book came out 2004, I believe. And on 2010, Let Me In, that's the American version, came out, and it's with Chloe Grace Moretz. Am I pronouncing her last name?
I think that's how you say it. I like her.
Yeah, from Kick-Ass, and the guy Cody Smith McPhee, and he plays oh my god, what was the name I told you guys that he played on the X-Men?
Oh, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, yeah, yeah. And so I thought it was pretty cool. But I mean, if you guys haven't watched it, it's a little boy who just moved into a new neighborhood and he's being bullied, and he meets this little girl, and which, I mean, it kind of gives it away right there on the middle one. So it's a vampire movie. I love vampires. So he meets this little girl, and it's just like she's kind of odd, grumpy. We were
Grumpy.
little, yeah. And this little boy who's being bullied, kind of like weak sauce, and it's just such an interesting movie. I seen only a little bit of the Sweden one. I watched first the American one, but I thought it was pretty interesting, and I really like it,
that's
and I
so
recommend
cool.
it.
Seeing
Yeah,
that translation on a different media now that we're talking about movies versus the comic
yeah,
books.
and that one on when it came out box office, they made 1 million, and their budget was 20 million, so they made at least 4.
Some money. I mean, 4 million's nothing to sneeze at, right? That's
Like,
pretty.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is still such a great movie, and I think I felt like, because I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched like later on, because I never honestly, like, I didn't see much promotion for it. So again, I don't know if it was because it was like a foreign comic, a movie, but I just thought it was really good.
Very good. Yeah, so that kind of ties into our whole idea of foreign here, guys. We're talking about, foreign comics was predominantly the show. Now we're kind of switching gears. I had to put this one up because a few shows back I was talking about True Lies, and I had no idea that James Cameron basically took this. I mean, he did. He took it from a French rendition back in 1991. So if you've seen True Lies, did you know that True Lies was a remake? I had no idea.
No idea. How did you find it? How did you?
I was doing some research because I'm like, oh man, we're going to have the Rob on tonight. So I don't want to sound like a total dumbass. So I'm like researching and stuff. And so I started looking into what foreign films did the best in the United States. And this was one of them. It was one of those movies that just dominated here. And of course you threw in Schwarzenegger and, you had really good actors in this film, but that was one of them. And then again, I wanted to bring some attention to the fact that there was this huge wave of Japanese horror flicks that kind of got translated to American. And okay, this one, DreamWorks apparently bought the rights for The Ring for $1 million. And it became the largest grossing horror film in the States ever since. It made $129 million.
Wow, that is so crazy.
This slide scares me though, so we're not going to stay on it very long. This one's not much better. These are some creepy ass slides. Same deal. You have The Grudge. This one was your little girl crush, Sarah Michelle Gellar, was in this movie. Really? Anyways, so these are a couple examples where you see that translation from different foreign areas, and then it comes over to America. It did really well. I refuse to watch either of these because they're terrible.
The Asian one, it's way better than the original one.
You've seen it?
Mm-hmm. Hello, remember I told you about my crazy mother? Yeah.
Oh wait, remind me, what did your crazy mother do? Tell everybody.
She watches horror movies, and my little sister, she's named after the girl from The Ring. Yeah, she watches all this by herself in the dark, middle of the night.
Like, what the hell? Why would you name your kid after some scary ass movie like this?
Yeah, because she said that the story was beautiful and the name was beautiful. That's her theory.
So wait, I thought who has the rating rights to let movies play in China? Don't they have like a system where they have to have certain things not in the movie for it to be there? I thought horror was one of those genres that they have to screen it first before they let it play.
It's not Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. China's the one with okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's such a good movie. But
oh my gosh.
I was telling you guys that Train to Busan is getting remade by the US, which it's kind of dumb. It's already a really good movie. Why make it?
And the Godzilla movie, they released that new poster. That's another one where you see like a really high grossing American version. But anyways, oops, hold on. I pushed the wrong button. Aunt, make that go away. Good thing I have our producer here. I keep pushing the wrong shit. Let's go back to this slide. This is where this whole show started. So if you're just joining, you're going to want to go back and rewatch. We were so lucky to have Rob come on with us tonight and talk foreign comics. Rob, do me a favor here really quickly. One more time. Do a couple little plugs here as to where they can find you.
Okay. I'm at Rob's Comics on Instagram, at Rob's Comics 81. Comics is with an X, no apostrophes or spaces or anything like that. And I frequently podcast with Global Comic Safari when we have our pickup shows and things of that nature, which you guys should check it out. It's a lot of deep dives in there. You know, we touch all genres, bronze, gold, silver, and sometimes it's what the hell is that? So a lot of those are, you know, some of the deeper educated foreign collectors. So a lot of times it won't be the normal versions we see, but it's recognizable to us because we've been doing it long enough. But we're all here to help. It's a community effort. I'm not an expert, but I know people to find the information that I need. And this is something that helps you connect. COVID has been easy because you have a worldwide of people. People are up all times of the night. You can't sleep. I'm pretty sure somebody in Japan's awake. You can talk to them.
You got the connections.
Yeah.
That's very true. You've done such a good job teaching us. Jen, what's one thing you learned tonight? This is the after show quiz.
After show quiz. I would say now I know who to ask. Like since I've over two. And I know that if it's over $8, that's probably good to go for shipping.
You'll learn nothing else. That's all you need to know.
All right, Lucy, what did you learn today?
And it's not about the condition. It's about like what you want to collect. So the condition, it doesn't matter. Like pull the trigger.
Especially if it's a book you want. Don't even, because I promise you, had there been books I missed? Yeah, I probably have. One, I probably didn't have the money. I promise you, there's been a lot of times be like, hey, you looking for this book? I just spent my money on the other one. Can you hold it? A lot of times, if a part of the community, they'll let you build a box. Like a lot of times we have the system where if you buy a couple books, they'll put it to the side and say, hey, I'm sending some books to Rob. I'll throw your books in there with it so we can save on shipping. And then once it gets to me, I send it to you. It's already in the States. I'll make sure it's all bag and boarded and stuff and, you know, secure it and then send it to you so it gets in the condition that you bought it. So that's the system that we've built. And we won't let anybody mess that up. That's kind of how we roll.
Wow,
So
that was my takeaway here. The community. That's what I learned today. That foreign comics is about having a strong community of people that you can trust and rely on to help you find what you want and to get the good stuff. You know, that's what you need is a really strong base there. And it seems like you guys have that. So if you guys haven't already, make sure that you're joining FCC over on Facebook and following Rob on Instagram. One last question before we let you go.
Sure.
That book in the background that says Hair Love, what is that? Yeah, right there.
That is a short cartoon about a little girl that has a lot of hair. And my daughter was kind of going through that phase of like, you know, my hair is, you know, bushy, like a high top fade. And, you know, my wife showed it to her and we saw the cartoon. We found out that book was printed and we was like, we'll add that to it.
That is.
And you know, this one over here, little ladies, that's the Black leaders, you know, Black history. Like I said, I'm covering Global Comic Safari. This is Black history stuff here.
Oh, that's
and this one right here, my wife's book. She's a English teacher. It's on Amazon.
What is this? Under my dress.
Oh, that's cool.
It's on Amazon. It's a lot of poetry in here. She's a poet.
Oh, she wrote it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. You guys go and order it. Wow,
This is all on Amazon, you're saying? All these books behind you?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I love that one. I love my hair. That's, you know, because I have curly hair and just recently I started getting into like embracing my curls. But I always hated my curly hair. And now
it kept catching my eye too. And all right, Anthony's putting a link in the chat. So if you guys could go and support one of these books, that would be amazing. Because as we were talking about, it's Black History Month. So, you know,
especially
good karma, right? Do it.
Yeah. And Brandon, there is no tab because I already have my own tab. I can barely cover my own. And I will not cover the tab of any X-Men #1s or GSX ones or any of those other high books that I can't afford. I'm already tapped out. I'm all $20 books now.
All right, girls, do you guys have anything you want to add before we let the wonderful Rob go?
Real quick, if you guys have time on Hulu, it's In the Flesh is a cool BBC zombie retell. It's not even. It's really unique. I think it's better than. Personally, I didn't like Warm Bodies. This is much better. BBC puts out some great content.
Yeah.
In the Flesh. Just watch one episode and tell me if it's not intriguing. Okay.
She got me to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to do it. She's like, Lord, do it. I'm like, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
You know what? It's the I watched the first. I was watching the first episode, and even my husband Sam, he was saying like I was telling him what it was about. And he's like, "Oh, that's different. That has never been done. Only like you said, Warm Bodies." But it was like I guess better. And this one came out before that movie, so
yeah, it did.
They got the idea probably from there.
Yeah. But it's so much better. It's so much better. Like, and it's very grounded, and it's just. It's. I know, Laura. Like, I know you were like horror movies, and I'm like, no, man. It's like introspective and like makes you think. And like, I know amongst me and my friends and family spurred tons of conversation about like what we would do in the situation or with certain family members or friends, and like it's so good. One episode, just one episode.
Oh, JJ. JJ.
Wait, where is it at though, Jen?
Hulu.
Hulu. In the Flesh on Hulu. That is Jen's homework for you guys tonight, and I'm gonna watch the first episode tonight. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take your word on this one because you have such great taste. So I'm in. I'm sold. Really quickly, one last question for you, Rob. Does Godzilla have a comic book?
Yes, he actually has a Filipino. I'm going to pray for you right now that you actually find one because, like I said, that's a later podcast. Filipino is, I think that's the bottom out of Alice's rabbit hole. Like you just keep falling. But Filipinos a black hole because they don't have a website.
Mm.
They don't have no record of any of the books because some of them don't even have the price in it. So yeah, I tell you what, join the community. We can help you track down some people in the country. And Laura, I'm disappointed in you. You have an Italian Supergirl Adam Hughes behind you. You didn't even want to show it. That 9-2 right there.
Anthony put it there. I didn't even.
Don't do
Damn,
that.
Anthony. I honestly, I don't even know what it was. I just thought it was pretty. What do you think?
Yeah.
Nice.
They did it. Yeah, Global Comic Safari did that set too. There's only 4 versions of that.
Wow.
And I own one of them. Damn, look at that. I didn't even know it was back there.
What is this? You own one of them?
We own one of them. Rob, I just ordered, or Anthony just ordered your wife's book. It'll be here in a couple days.
Aww.
Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate having you on. Okay, so we're going to call it for tonight. Guys, if you haven't already, please make sure that you like and follow the page. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And please support Rob, follow them, join FCC. And we will be back next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a really cool show. Next week, we are bringing on Megan Pickard, who is the cosplayer, the official face of Mystique. Hey, how cool will that be?
Nice.
She will be here next week. So make sure that you are tuning in. And thanks so much for coming out. Have a good night.
Good night.
Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know which button I'm supposed to push. There's a button that says, oh, here we go.